Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On Point. My name is Richard Kerr, Bilt's travel expert. Today we're going to show you how to travel to the other side of the world to one of my favorite countries, Singapore. Before we get into it, if you like this content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell so you never miss an episode. All right, today's episode comes from Bilt Rewards member Miguel, who said, Richard, can you help me get a vacation from Los Angeles to Singapore using Bilt points? Absolutely, yes, we can. And I'm gonna show you a couple of cool options that are surprisingly affordable to travel to the other side of the world. And we are gonna start with United Airlines. You say, Richard, why United? I'm gonna tell you. United is part of the Star Alliance. That means one of the world's best airlines, Singapore Airlines, is also part of the Star Alliance, and we can book that with United Miles, a one-to-one transfer partner of Bilt Rewards. Here on the homepage, you do not have to log into United. I'm gonna go one way. Remember, I like to search for my tickets one way and book one way. That way, if something happens to my outbound flight, it doesn't mess with my inbound flight. I find things just easier to keep it separate. So we're gonna go one way, book with miles, all important button here, Los Angeles to Singapore. I'm searching for next winter. Singapore is right there on the equator. There's not really winter, there's not really summer. It's always kind of hot and warm, but we like to plan in advance. We're gonna go one adult, economy, and find flights. United will ask you to log in. You can just click off of that and you're gonna see the availability. One of the coolest flights in the world is right here in option number one. This is the non-stop flight from LAX to Singapore, blocked at 17 hours and 50 minutes to get to the other side of the world, but a really reasonable 44,000 miles and only $5.60. Look, if you're gonna go all the way, you might as well go non-stop, especially when it's that reasonable a price. Maybe you already have some United miles laying around and you just need to use your Bilt points to top it up. They actually have 2 flights a day. You can pick whether you want to land a little bit early in Singapore or whether you want to land a little bit later and try and power through the day. Remember, some other great features of the United website, your flexible calendar at the top that pulls up an entire 30-day view so you can see which days is available. Anytime you see 44,000, that's a pretty good indication that that nonstop is going to be available. And I'm telling you, even though it's in economy, Singapore, one of the best airlines, the best service, a comfortable seat, you're going to really enjoy it, and this is a wonderful price. We're going to do a little bit of something different here, and I know a lot of people have commented, hey Richard, I fly round trip. I just feel more comfortable booking round trip. I want to make sure I have everything on one ticket. We can do that, and we'll do a round trip scenario here where we go the 15th and we return back a week later on the 22nd. All important, miles, not money. We want to do miles here on United.com, and we see the outbound again, 44,000 miles, $5.60. I'm going to select that, and then we're going to go to the return flight 1 week later, and you see, hey, dynamic pricing is a little bit cheaper. This time only 40,000 miles, a little bit more taxes and fees because you do have to pay Singapore departure taxes, and you're going to see, because you're going with the wind, you have 15 hours and 10 minutes instead of 17 hours and 50 minutes. So you get that shorter flight back. And then you're gonna see with that 44,000 outbound, 40,000 inbound is gonna be 84,000 miles round trip to fly to the other side of the world on nonstop flights. Really doesn't get any more convenient than that. But just because we can, we're gonna show you one more option. I'm gonna go over to our other Star Alliance partner, Turkish Airlines. I am logged into my Turkish account. This is required. Click award ticket here on the Turkish homepage. It brings us to the search. We're gonna do that same search from LAX over to Singapore, SIN. We're gonna do that same date. Again, I like to search one way just to see what kind of itineraries come up on the 15th, one passenger in economy. Now this search option is only gonna bring up Turkish Airlines operated flights. If you wanna search partners through Turkish, you're gonna have to go to a different area of the website. But you see here, 45,000 miles in economy. Again, very reasonable, 1,000 more miles than United, and then business class, 180,000 miles, because in this case, you are going all the way through Istanbul. So Los Angeles to Istanbul, connection for 5 hours, and Istanbul down to Singapore. You're gonna say, hey, it looks a lot longer. Now it is because you have a connection, but in reality, it's gonna be mileage-wise about the same. You have to literally go to the other side of the world from LA to get to Singapore. So this is just another option that's reasonably priced. And then you can click around a few dates here and say, hey, maybe is there another date that's cheaper on business? Maybe is there another date that has a promotion, which Turkish regularly has? And unfortunately not. You see a few different flight options with different connection times, but I often find it worthwhile to click around here on the Turkish website and see maybe if we find something that works a little bit better for us. With that, we're gonna go and look at your hotels in Singapore. First, we're gonna start with our partners over at Hyatt. All you have to do is type in the entire country name. Now, Singapore is essentially one giant large city, so not too much of a difference here, but I do like searching by countries sometimes. We're gonna go over to our dates that we search for flights. Use points, all important there. You do not have to be signed in. We're gonna click find hotels. Now, really only a couple options in Singapore when it comes to Hyatts, and one of them unfortunately closed right now, the Grand Hyatt Singapore, one of my favorite Hyatts in the world because they're renovating the entire hotel. It should be open in Q1 of 2023, but right now you can't make reservations, which leaves you the Andaz for 28,000 points. Right here on the water, great place to walk around. Remember, Hyatt, always important. You click view rates and click all the way in to make sure that that day is actually available for points, which it is. Do not just go by the home screen. With that, we'll go over to our partners at IHG. We'll do the same deal. We'll just type in the entire country of Singapore. We'll go over to our same dates. In February, we land on the 17th. If you leave on the 15th, yeah, you lose an entire 2 days. Remember, reward nights is what you want to select here, and then we search. And you see some really attractive pricing here from IHG with everything from the Intercontinental, which is a luxury brand, down to the Holiday Inn Express and Clark Key, which is right around an amazing area to walk around with restaurants around the water. As always, my favorite option on IHG is to go into that map view and check out these locations really quick of where everything is and zoom in. You can see you have a plethora of options, whichever way that you want to go. So lots of options here from IHG, whether you want to go more moderate all the way up to luxury. The last thing I want to bring your attention to is the Bilt travel portal powered by Expedia. You can redeem your Bilt points for 1.25 cents each, and you can redeem that for flights, stays, cars, or things to do. We're going to check out some of the really unique hotels that Singapore has that aren't part of a points program, but you can get some pretty luxurious stays and some pretty historic hotels actually when you start looking around Singapore. What I like about this is, again, tells you here's the cost, here's the points, it does the math for you, 1.25 cents per point. Well, let's say I want to go fancy, let's go 5 stars only. You're going to find some really awesome hotels like Ritz-Carlton's, like Conrad's, like Pan Pacific Hotel I've heard a lot about. These are really, really nice hotels, and if you see these prices and points, it's not too bad. Some of this actually a great deal, all the way down to 20,000 Bilt points for a 5-star hotel. And again, you can go into the map area, you can see which areas of Singapore you want to stay. We've already got it filtered, starting here at the Singapore airport and city over here, and you can just pick out, hey, I got it down filtered 5-star hotels. Here's all the different options. Use Bilt points to cover all of this, and you still have a wonderful way to book your perfect hotel regardless of what you're after using the Bilt travel portal. And with that, you've got a flight on one of the best airlines in the world, Singapore Airlines. You have hotel options with Hyatt, IHG, 5-star options in the Bilt travel portal. If you want to explore other areas in Southeast Asia, you can check out this video that we did on Vietnam using Bilt points. With that, I'll see you out there.